You sense it, don't you? A sudden shift that makes your heart pound, an unshakable feeling that you've attracted the attention of a figure with incredible influence. This isn't an accident. You're a chosen one, and God is aligning circumstances in ways that defy logic. If you're ready for immediate, tangible breakthroughs from this revelation, watch at least 18 minutes to prove you mean business. Then, like this video, subscribe and comment 77 so the universe knows you're open. Finally, drop another comment. Ready for what's next, and ignite a new season of transformation that no power on earth can halt. Your life has felt like a series of close calls, near misses, and partial victories. You've trudged forward, aware of a bigger purpose but never fully grasping it. Meanwhile, you've sensed hidden eyes on you, critical watchers or even supporters turned silent cynics, waiting for you to slip. But now a twist emerges. A figure so significant, so pivotal, has zeroed in on your path. This is not rumor or happenstance. It's a deliberate move by God to confirm that your gifts, your genius, are about to be summoned for a larger stage. Here's the reality. Your readiness is under scrutiny. Hesitate, and you could fumble an opportunity that redefines your destiny. Step forward, and you'll realize you were always more capable, more anointed than you ever dared to believe. Chapter 1. You've crossed boundaries that compromise your calling. You once had a concrete sense of what you would and would not tolerate. Whether it was your moral code, your emotional fortitude, or your spiritual standards, you kept them strong until life's demands got loud and draining. Maybe a toxic relationship wore you down, or an unrelenting job consumed your energy. Bit by bit, your once firm lines blurred. The watchers took note, possibly smirking as you compromised piece after piece of your essence. You felt it too. Each boundary violation left you more exhausted, more distant from your divine assignment. God saw all, and while you worried you'd lost yourself for good, the divine orchestrated a wake-up call. Perhaps you had a breakdown that forced you to say, "No more," or maybe you felt an inner stirring that refused to be silenced. The watchers might have scoffed, expecting you to remain entangled in confusion, but your soul recognized the alarm. Something had to give. You had to reclaim your lines, those barriers that preserve your unique calling from exploitation or scattering. Re-establishing boundaries can provoke upheaval. The people or systems that benefited from your compliance might rail against your shift. They accuse you of changing, of being selfish, or of losing your once subtle nature. Let them chatter. You know that each boundary is an act of spiritual stewardship, safeguarding the time, focus, and emotional bandwidth your calling demands. The watchers may mock your new resolve, but that only confirms they never valued your well-being to begin with. The pain of acknowledging how far you drifted can be acute. You recall the times you said yes when your spirit cried no. It stings. But regret isn't your permanent lodging. It's a waypoint. From now on, each boundary you honor signals a return to the center of your God-given path. The watchers, hoping you'll slump back into old compliance, observe, yet your posture remains unwavering. You've glimpsed the brilliance you lost along the way, and the desire to reclaim it surpasses any fear of conflict or rejection. Mending compromised boundaries also demands you reevaluate your environment. Some individuals can't handle this new clarity. They thrived on your blurred lines, getting more from you than they ever gave back. With your transformation, those lopsided relationships might collapse. The watchers may label you dizzy, but you won't be swayed. The cost of continuing unbalanced ties is the slow erosion of your genius, a price too steep to pay. You might falter as you relearn to say no. Old guilt can creep up, lying to you that you're letting people down, but you counter with the truth. Letting yourself down is no longer an option. Each no you utter is a yes to the better vision God placed in your soul. Over time, guilt is replaced by calm assurance that you're stewarding your gifts responsibly. You step into each day lighter, with more mental space. To engage in projects aligned with your real calling, the Watchers might shift tactics, using subtle manipulations to test your resolve. Maybe they remind you of your past compliance, insinuating you owe them your time or energy. But once you've seen how your calling suffers from boundary breaches, there's no going back. The renewed confidence in your stance confounds them. They may mutter about how you've become difficult, but you see it as self-respect, something chosen ones can't afford to forfeit. This boundary realignment sets the stage for the extraordinary. Each day you honor your limits. You reclaim pockets of brilliance that once leaked away. Your clarity sharpens, your energy surges, and you begin to notice synchronicities again, those God winks confirming you're on track. It's in this state of integrity that the one with power to change your trajectory spots you, because your radiance becomes impossible to ignore. Once your spirit is free from the burdens of compromised boundaries, reflect on how easily you used to say yes to draining tasks or manipulative people. Feel that pain of remorse, then transform it into unwavering resolution. The Watchers, expecting you to revert, will watch in vain. You're serious now, fully convinced that your calling depends on how vigilantly you guard your domain. And as you stand tall in this new posture, keep your eyes open for the invitation, whether a phone call, an email, or a chance encounter, signaling that your genius has indeed caught the eye of someone who can catapult you forward. At this chapter's close, you realize boundaries are not about building a fortress to hide behind, but forging a safe perimeter for your genius to flourish. Without them, you remain at the mercy of external pulls. With them, you're finally in a position to steward your energy with intention, focusing on the tasks that truly matter. That silent readiness sets you apart. Now, you're prepared to face the next layers by tackling deeply embedded trauma or harnessing new opportunities that lead to the unveiling of the brilliance the Watchers can only speculate about. Chapter 2. You're overcoming trauma that nearly derailed your destiny. Trauma can masquerade as your identity if you let it. It sears impressions so deep, you begin to see life through a lens of pain, expecting disappointment at every turn. Over time, this lens shapes your self-dialogue, telling you success is fleeting, relationships are suspect, and everything good inevitably collapses. The Watchers might have recognized your vulnerable state, picking at your insecurities for entertainment or personal gain. Or maybe they pitied you, certain you'd never reclaim your rightful place after what you endured. But God's blueprint for you has no clause that says trauma is your end point. To break free, you had to confront those shadows, which is terrifying. Trauma can be your normal if it's all you've known. The Watchers rely on you cowering in that normal, convinced you'll never rise. Yet a chosen one's spirit rebels against permanent captivity. You felt that rebellion stirring, a restlessness that refused to let no misdefine you. You decided, consciously or otherwise, that you'd risk facing your ghosts rather than let them shape your future. Processing that pain might have demanded therapy, journaling, or raw prayers sobbed out in the night. Each time you chipped away at the fortress trauma built around your heart. The Watchers possibly sneered, claiming you were obsessed with your past. But you knew ignoring it was no solution. If you wanted a destiny unclouded by flashbacks or crippling distrust, you had to do the emotional excavation. Freed from illusions that time alone fixes wounds, you welcomed resources that sped your healing. Then something shifted. Your nightmares decreased, your triggers softened, and your negative self-talk lost its bite. It felt like a miracle, yet you knew it was the fruit of confronting the very dragons that threatened to devour your potential. The Watchers might have no clue how much silent agony you overcame, but that's all right. They don't need to see your scars to validate your transformation. You know, and God knows, that your nights of anguish weren't in vain. Trauma once taught you destructive coping mechanisms. Maybe you closed off emotionally or self-sabotaged every time good things approached. You're discarding those band-aid solutions in favor of healthy strategies. Instead of shutting people out, you evaluate them with your refined boundaries. Instead of sabotaging a new job or relationship, you allow yourself to envision success. The Watchers might sense your shift in energy, but remain clueless about your deeper metamorphosis, which is exactly the advantage you hold. Another sign of healing is your capacity for trust. Trauma told you nobody is safe, everyone's a liar or manipulator. That cynicism bled into your interactions, repelling genuine support. Now, though cautious, you see glimpses of sincerity in others. You allow incremental vulnerability, forging alliances that bolster your pursuit of destiny. The Watchers, expecting you to remain isolated, see you stepping out, forging new connections. They might remain suspicious, but you see the bigger picture. Only by risking trust do you rejoin the human tapestry from which trauma once exiled you. Your restored emotional health also reactivates your creative genius. Whether you're an artist, a leader, an entrepreneur, or a caregiver, your best ideas flow from a spirit unburdened by terror. Free from constantly scanning for threats, your mind invests in forging new concepts or crafting solutions to problems around you. That's the chosen one's hallmark, turning personal adversity into communal breakthroughs. In your renewed capacity, you might see a gap in your community you can fill, a broken system you can help fix, or a project that can elevate neglected voices. The Watchers remain fixated on trivial matters while you step into king-level assignments. It's important, though, to remain vigilant about triggers that can pop up unexpectedly. A random sight or smell might catapult you back to a painful memory. The Watchers might exploit these triggers, intentionally or not. In those moments, ground yourself in your new truth. You are not that traumatized version of yourself anymore. The memory is a chapter read, not a loop you must endlessly reread. If needed, step away from negativity, re-enter prayer, or reach out to someone who's proven supportive. Each time you handle triggers with your new self-awareness, you fortify your healing, reducing the Watcher's ability to knock you off course. Having traversed this healing arc, you're in prime position to harness life's next invitation, like the one from that influential figure who's noticed your brilliance. Maybe, in your unhealed state, you'd have declined or messed it up out of fear. Now, though, you can approach with cautious optimism. You're not naive, but you're also not jaded by despair. That bound stance stands out to those who have the power to open major doors. And ironically, your trauma can become a hidden strength in these new endeavors. Because you've weathered storms that might have capsized others, you exude a quiet resilience. Potential allies or mentors sense you are not easily rattled. The Watchers might try to spook you with rumors or innuendo, but you're intimately familiar with mental battles, so you don't fold under psychological pressure. This unwavering presence can impress decision-makers who appreciate your ability to remain composed under stress. To others who still remain trapped in their own pain, you serve as living proof that healing is possible, that destiny can be reclaimed from the jaws of heartbreak. The Watchers never accounted for the possibility that your scars would embolden you rather than destroy you. Now, they either step aside or cling to their cynicism, but none of that deters you. You stand as a lighthouse for those stuck in darkness, signaling that if you can overcome your trauma, so can they. Ultimately, your healing journey is ongoing, yet you've crossed a threshold that many never reach. The watchers can't unsee the difference in your eyes, your posture, your conversation. You're more anchored, more gracious, and more unstoppable than they ever anticipated. By reclaiming your mind from the chains of old wounds, you've effectively reactivated the genius God embedded in you. And with that brilliance returning to the fore, you're poised to make waves in ways that once seemed inconceivable. Let this chapter remain your proof. Heartbreak might have threatened to derail you, but you turned that threat into a stepping stone, forging a destiny deeper and more radiant than any cynic can comprehend. Chapter 3. You've caught the eye of someone with the power to shift your path. A sense of extraordinary expectation hangs in the air around you. Something intangible but undeniably real, like a faint hum you can't pinpoint. That's your intuition screaming that an influential figure has been drawn to your orbit, possibly through your body of work, your spirit-laden presence, or a random encounter. This individual isn't a mere follower or critic. They hold a key that can unlock entire realms of opportunity. And you, as a chosen one, stand on the edge of a potential quantum leap. Before your transformation, you might have dismissed the idea that a person of great power or status could be interested in your gifts. The Watchers, too, might belittle your contributions, painting you as unremarkable, but that's the nature of Watchers. They cannot fathom that God can connect you with game-changers who sense the intangible glow that sets you apart. A chance conversation, a social media post they scrolled by, or an in-person event might have sparked their curiosity. However it happened, you've become a focal point in their world. Why does their attention matter? Because sometimes destiny uses human agents to elevate you to platforms you can't reach alone. Think of Joseph interpreting Pharaoh's dream, or David being noticed by King Saul. God orchestrates these connections to expedite your next chapter. The Watchers will say you're being used or you're selling out. They miss the point. This synergy isn't about losing your identity. It's about receiving help that complements your mission. You remain faithful to your calling, but the resources and networks you access through this alliance can magnify your impact exponentially. Yet, hooking someone's attention is just the start. You must be ready. If you doubt your worth or your readiness, you might unintentionally sabotage their approach. They might test your resilience or curiosity. Their questions could feel like intrusions. If you shrink back into insecurities or cling to old illusions, the Watchers will get their wish. You'll fumble an opportunity that can shift your trajectory. On the other hand, if you stand firm, unafraid to let your genius shine, you'll see how quickly doors swing open. Ensure you maintain alignment with your principles. A powerful figure might exert influence to steer you off your path. If their motives clash with your core values, discernment is crucial. Yes, they can accelerate your mission, but if they demand you compromise your integrity, it's a trap. The Watchers might eagerly wait to see you sacrifice your authenticity for a taste of success. Refuse. True alliances that come from divine arrangement never force you to contort yourself into someone you're not. They enhance, not degrade, your essence. You also might wrestle with imposter syndrome. Why would someone that prominent pick me? Remember, God calls the seemingly unqualified to stun the Watchers, who assume greatness only emerges from certain backgrounds. This figure might see in you the spark they once had, or the missing piece their enterprise or vision requires. Humility is good, but self-belittlement is not. You stand here by more than luck. You arrived through trials that refined you for exactly this. Accept that truth wholeheartedly to avoid self-sabotage at the 11th hour. Communication is key. If they reach out, respond with clarity and calm. Don't fawn over them, but do be open to their insights. Show them you respect their time, but also value yours. The Watchers might interpret your measured approach as arrogance, but your real aim is to build a relationship on mutual respect. In initial meetings, feel free to share your vision, your story, and your boundaries. If they are truly in tune with your calling, they'll appreciate your transparency. If they recoil or push you to compromise, that's your red flag. Move on. God can raise another conduit if this one fails the integrity test. Another potential pitfall is the watchers stirring drama. They might dig up old rumors or negative stories to discourage this influential person from working with you. Stand firm. If something surfaces from your past, own your journey. You overcame heartbreak and soared beyond illusions. An honest admission of growth and learning can disarm rumors. The watchers thrive on scandal, but once they see you refuse to panic or hide, they lose momentum. Meanwhile, your new ally sees how you handle adversity, reinforcing their decision to back you. The watcher's final tactic might be pressuring you to prove this person's interest is genuine, expecting immediate results or public confirmations. Resist that pressure. Not all alliances broadcast themselves instantly. Some require quiet nurturing, planning, and strategic alignment before going public. If you brag prematurely or yield to the watcher's demands for proof, you risk sabotaging something that needs time to unfold. Patience and discretion can shield your budding partnership from toxic energy until it's robust enough to handle scrutiny. Ultimately, realize the watcher's opinions don't define whether you're worthy of an influential ally's support. God orchestrated this contact, not them. If you sense peace in your spirit, keep your eyes on the bigger picture. This new connection can become the rocket fuel for your destiny, but only if you handle it with the balance of confidence, humility, and unwavering commitment to your calling. Let the watchers watch. The more they fixate on your every move, the more they'll witness a divine synergy beyond their comprehension. So brace yourself for that knock on the door, that email in your inbox, or that direct message on social media. You might be stunned by how quickly you're asked to step into positions of influence or leadership, but you're ready. God's been prepping you behind the scenes, forging your resilience through heartbreak and your clarity through conflict with negativity. Now, it's time to let your genius flow in conjunction with someone who has the clout to elevate it for the good of many. Let the watchers keep their seats. You're about to move in circles they can only gossip about, fulfilling a plan they never believed you could carry. Chapter 4. You must prepare. This invitation calls for a leap of faith. An opportunity can electrify your life, but if you're unprepared, it might slip through your fingers. You've attracted someone with the influence to shift your path, but that's only half the equation. Their interest must be met with your readiness. Chosen ones can't afford half-hearted approaches. When destiny knocks, it's time to gather your resources, refine your presentation, bead your pitch, your portfolio, or your personal brand, and bolster your spiritual fortitude. If you're not prepared, the watchers will smirk as you watch the chance evaporate. Preparation doesn't necessarily mean you have to become perfect. It means you step into thoroughness, ensuring no glaring gaps exist that could sabotage your leap. If your calling is entrepreneurial, line up your business plan. If it's creative, compile your best work so far. If it's relational, check your emotional readiness so you don't sabotage intimacy or partnership. The watchers might claim you're obsessing, but you're simply stewarding your potential responsibly. Part of preparation is mental. Do you believe you belong in the realm you're about to enter? If a high-profile collaborator contacts you, can you stand before them as an equal, or will you cower in intimidation? Confidence is not arrogance. It's the calm knowledge that your gifts come from God, not from random chance, and that He's orchestrating this alliance for a purpose bigger than yourself. Doubt each day. Speak affirmations that fortify this truth. The watchers might label it self-hype, but you know it's spiritual alignment. Also, consider your environment. Is your living space or workspace conducive to deep focus and creativity, or is it cluttered with distractions and negativity? You can't catapult into a higher dimension if chaos reigns around you. Declutter not just physically, but also socially. Limit time with individuals who drain your energy with endless drama. The Watchers might interpret that as isolation, but you see it as detox. A chosen one can't mold a masterpiece amidst a spool of trivial noise. Moreover, your financial management could matter. If you are about to be offered a major project or a role, a stable personal foundation prevents you from accepting bad terms out of desperation. Revisit your budget or savings plan. If you sense fear around finances, replace it with proactive steps that yield confidence. That confidence underpins your ability to negotiate fairly. The Watchers might whisper that you're naive to set high standards, but setting them ensures you're not exploited by sweet promises. Spiritual readiness is equally crucial. Meditate, pray, or do whatever connects you deeply with God daily. This spiritual anchor keeps you grounded when the Watchers inevitably fling negativity at you. No matter how golden an opportunity is, if you're spiritually adrift, you may find yourself swayed by fleeting glamour or pressured into decisions that sabotage your core mission. A firm spiritual practice counters that risk, enabling you to filter each new development through the lens of your ultimate calling. You might also face tests of loyalty from those already in your life. Some Watchers, disguised as friends, might guilt-trip you for changing as you prepare for bigger stages. They might brand your diligence as self-absorption. That's their lens, not your truth. Your pivot to excellence demands you reevaluate how you spend time and energy. You can show them love without sacrificing your readiness. If they can't respect that boundary, it's their issue, not yours. Set a timeline for yourself, not in the sense of forcing the opportunity to appear, but to ensure your end is fully prepared if it arrives tomorrow or a month from now. Each day, do something, anything, that moves you closer to readiness. If it's writing, produce a few pages daily. If it's building a brand, finalize that website. If it's forming a community initiative, line up your volunteers. Each micro-step compounds, sending a message to the universe that you're not waiting passively. The Watchers might joke about your small steps, but those steps form a ladder that leads you to the monumental. Another dimension of preparation is emotional stamina. The Watchers are guaranteed to magnify any signs of stress or hesitation. If you start to waver, train yourself to handle pressure by placing yourself in challenging scenarios. Practice your speeches in front of people who critique you. Simulate tough negotiations. Sign up for events that force you out of your comfort zone. The anxiety you feel in these controlled settings readies you for bigger leaps. Soon, you'll realize that fear is manageable, that you can keep your cool under scrutiny. Don't overlook rest in the midst of all this. Preparation involves cycles of intense effort and intentional recuperation. Overworked minds fray and produce subpar outcomes. Schedule breaks, nature walks, or creative diversions that reignite your spark. The Watchers might say you're slacking, but you know rest is part of the formula for excellence. If you're constantly burned out, you can't present your best self to the person who singled you out for greatness. Finally, remain open to last-minute divine touches. Sometimes you can do all the planning, yet God reveals a novel approach right before the big moment. Don't cling so hard to your plan that you miss spiritual redirection. The Watchers might sense confusion, but you interpret it as flexibility in God's hands. That final tweak could be the difference between a lukewarm reception and an explosive success. Embrace it wholeheartedly. So, commit to thorough, balanced, and spirited preparation. The Watchers might watch, but their opinions don't steer you. You're forging your readiness in private discipline, heartfelt prayer, and unwavering focus. The day this influential figure calls for you, you'll stand not as a flustered wannabe, but as a refined vessel, exuding calm confidence and skillful mastery. That's how a chosen one arrives, poised, unstoppable, and fully equipped to transform an opportunity into a life-altering pivot. Let the watchers wonder how you lead so seamlessly. You'll know it was the synergy of your devotion meeting God's perfect timing. Chapter 5. Immediate benefits will unfold. This is your green light. People often hold the mistaken belief that spiritual or emotional transformations take eons before generating tangible benefits. But chosen ones operate in a higher frequency, where changes in mindset and readiness instantly ripple into the physical realm. You're not waiting years to see the fruits of your new stance. Some blessings and shifts can arrive within days or weeks. This is the green light moment. Now that you've aligned your boundaries, confronted trauma, and readied yourself, you'll see immediate real-world confirmations that your genius is not only recognized, but actively sought. The watchers might be skeptical, insisting that lasting results require slow, painstaking climbs. In typical scenarios, sure, but God's grace defies typical. Once your heart is prepared, doors can open in ways that shock everyone around you. Seemingly random calls or invitations align with your skill set. Unexpected money or resources appear to cover your next leap. People who previously brushed you off might circle back, compelled by a magnetic change in your demeanor. None of this is arbitrary. It's the plan in motion, responding to your unlocked potential. Of course, immediate benefits don't guarantee you'll skip adversity altogether. Challenges can still pop up. The watchers might intensify their negativity, stoking rumors or rehashing your past. But the difference is, you have the momentum of immediate blessings cushioning each blow. Where before, a single negative comment could spiral you into doubt, now you can reference tangible wins that confirm you're on the right track. A new partnership here, a brand collaboration there, a sudden influx of supportive community. These are the signs you're forging forward under divine endorsement. One crucial aspect: remain grounded in gratitude. As these quick blessings come, pride lurks in the corners of success. If you fixate on external achievements as proof of your worth, you risk detaching from the humility that fosters continued favor. The watchers might provoke you to boast, hoping your overconfidence leads to a slip. Respond instead with measured delight. Celebrate the blessings, but always credit God's orchestration, your own perseverance, and the support of allies who contributed along the way. Moreover, don't hoard these immediate gains. Chosen ones are channels, not reservoirs. If you receive an opportunity to speak or perform, share a piece of your journey, uplifting those who feel stuck. If finances improve, invest some portion in causes or people you believe in. The watchers might call you gullible or naive, but generosity keeps your blessings flowing. You're not trying to impress them. You're aligning with the principle that open-handedness expands your territory. Each time you give, you make room for even more to enter. A subtle hazard emerges when immediate benefits lull you into complacency. You might think, "I've made it. Let me rest." While rest is healthy, indefinite stagnation drains the momentum. If you treat these initial blessings as the final destination, you risk short-circuiting the bigger plan God has in store. The watchers might wait for you to slip into comfort so they can claim your success was a fleeting stroke of luck. Keep your eyes on the horizon. The plan unfolds in stages. Each immediate blessing is a stepping stone, not a final rest. Also, watch for sabotage from acquaintances spurred by jealousy. Some who called themselves friends might lash out, seeing your immediate ascension as a threat. That's a sign they never intended your true success. Don't shrink to soothe their envy. Compassionately distance yourself if needed. Remember, it's not personal. It's just that they can't handle your brightness. The Watchers thrive on turning others' insecurities against you, but your unwavering stance diffuses their attempts. Another dimension. The Watchers could claim your blessings are illusions that will vanish. They might whisper that you can't sustain the surge, but they don't know the spiritual reservoirs that feed your progress. You anchor your success in consistent prayer, grounded character and purposeful action. Even if one door closes, he trusts more will open. That confidence unsettles them. They prefer you trembling, second-guessing each gift. Keep that inner certainty unshakable. At times, you may have to defend your boundaries anew. As your platform grows, people sense a success and want a piece. Requests flood in, some beneficial, others exploitative. Evaluate them calmly. Just because you're riding a wave of blessings doesn't oblige you to say yes to every pitch. The Watchers might interpret your selective approach as arrogance. You recognize it as guarding your mission. A single ill-chosen partnership can taint your new era. Pick your collaborations wisely, guided by prayer and a sense of shared values. Finally, let these immediate benefits confirm your hunch that God always intended to highlight your brilliance. Once you reach the right state of readiness, no trial was wasted, no heartbreak superfluous. Each challenge sharpened your capacity to handle success ethically and effectively. Now, the Watchers witness a cohesive synergy of events that practically shout you were destined for more. If the Watchers remain unconvinced, that's their affair. For you, the cascade of blessings is proof enough that your path, though winding, was never abandoned. Therefore, embrace the wave of immediate rewards with balanced hype. Celebrate them as evidence that you're functioning in your rightful place, but never let them become idols. Keep seeking ways to refine your skills and deepen your spiritual connection, so that each new advantage fuels your mission instead of fueling vanity. That synergy, blessings fueling purpose and purpose welcoming more blessings, propels you beyond anything the Watchers can anticipate. Each day, you reaffirm that none of this is coincidence. It's the unstoppable outcome for a chosen one who overcame heartbreak, illusions, and set out to align fully with the plan. And this is just the start of the unstoppable momentum you'll ride into the next chapter. Chapter 6. Talk is cheap. Your action confirms you're ready. Words are easy. Declarations, promises, even prayers can roll off your tongue. The Watchers might have heard your big talk before, only to see you stay in place. This time is different, but they won't believe it until they witness consistent action. God orchestrated this entire shift, not so you could impress with lofty statements, but to demonstrate your transformation in tangible steps. Enough with telling people you've changed or that you're about to do great things. Prove it with your every move. Action means risking your ego. When you launch the project or publicly embrace your calling, you give the Watchers a front-row seat to your potential setbacks. That vulnerability can be nerve-wracking, yet you're propelled by a higher motive, fulfilling a plan that outlived every heartbreak and overshadowed every snare. If your heart is aligned with God's direction, you realize the Watchers' opinions hold minimal weight. Their cynicism only underscores how out of alignment with greatness they remain. Consider how action cements your shift. If you only intellectualize your growth, you remain in the realm of fantasy. You know the Watchers expect talk with no follow-through. By acting, you break that cycle, whether it's uploading that portfolio to a prospective sponsor, scheduling that collaboration meeting, or finalizing your creative blueprint. You ground your transformation in reality. Each step, no matter how small, is a stake in the ground that says, "I'm not who I was." Of course, overcommitment can be a trap. The watchers might watch you scramble with too many ventures, hoping you'll collapse under the weight. So, action doesn't mean flailing in all directions. It's purposeful motion, guided by deity. Start with what's essential, where you sense the strongest resonance. Master that, then expand. If you scatter your energy, you replicate your old pattern of boundary compromises. The watchers might label your new endeavor another passing whim. But if you remain selective, effective and measured, you'll produce results that mute their scoffs. Another pitfall is waiting for a grand unveiling. Some chosen ones hold back, convinced they need the perfect conditions, the endorsement of an influential mentor, or an auspicious date on the calendar. That's fear disguised as caution. God is the orchestrator, not the watchers, not a timeline, and not your illusions of cosmic alignment. By all means, be strategic, but don't let strategy become procrastination. The watchers are adept at fueling your hesitation, whispering that more prep is needed. Meanwhile, the open window for your move narrows. As you act, keep a method to measure progress. Big transformations can get muddled if you have no way to track your journey. If you're starting a business, set weekly or monthly targets. If your domain is creative, decide how many pieces or episodes you'll complete in a set time. The watchers might joke about your planning, but you know accountability fosters consistency. Each completed milestone not only quiets cynics, but also reassures you that you're steadily advancing, even if not every step is a leap. Don't shy from mistakes. Steady action includes stumbling. The watchers might seize on your errors as comedic or tragic, but chosen ones interpret mistakes as feedback loops. If the venture flops, you glean the lessons and pivot. That pivot might lead to an approach that outperforms your original plan. The watchers see failure as final. You see it as a subplot in an ongoing story. Their underestimation of your resilience is the greatest comedic irony. They can't fathom a chosen one using each misstep as a stepping stone to something bigger. Perhaps the most powerful dimension of action is how it shifts your internal identity. Each act, each leap, each send button you press for that proposal or application rewires your self-concept. No longer do you see yourself as the traumatized or compromised soul. You experience tangibly the embodiment of a forward-moving visionary. That shift resonates with onlookers who sense a new gravity in your presence. The watchers might not articulate it, but they feel you vibrating at a higher frequency. Some might get drawn to you, hoping to catch the same wave of unstoppable drive. Also, watch your language. If you keep telling everyone what you're about to do, you dissipate the momentum. The watchers might egg you on, extracting all your plans just to sabotage or mock them. Instead, let your completed actions speak. By the time they notice what you've built, it's already standing firm. Quiet hustle outperforms noisy intentions, especially when watchers lurk, hoping you'll betray your vulnerabilities. Secure your breakthroughs, not your unhatched schemes. This protects your momentum from naysayers who prefer to sabotage your seeds before they sprout. Finally, follow each success with gratitude. Action can breed confidence, which is good, but you must remain anchored in the truth that your achievements flow from grace as well as grit. The watchers might call it luck, but you know it's the synergy of God's favor and your determination. By pausing to give thanks, you keep your spirit aligned, preventing arrogance or a sense of entitlement. A grateful heart also repels negativity. It's harder for watchers to overshadow you when you radiate humble appreciation for every open door. In short, your new season demands less talk, more walk. The watchers who thrived under your inertia must now watch a flurry of consistent, targeted steps. Each action underscores that you're not the battered individual they once belittled. You're the chosen one, forging a path to the brilliance God always intended. The deeper you press into purposeful doing, the more unstoppable you appear. Soon enough, what started as small daily acts coalesces into a mighty wave that sweeps you into places you once only prayed for. Your unstoppable forward motion will leave watchers scrambling to keep up, or still stuck in disbelief. And by then, you'll be so far ahead, so immersed in living your destiny, that their cynicism won't even register. Chapter 7. The perfect storm of opportunity. Your genius lights the way. This is your climactic juncture. You vanquished fears, embraced new actions, and now everything converges into a storm of possibility, often called a perfect storm. Your readiness, awakened genius, and the world's demands collide. In this turbulent setting, your genius flares like lightning, once suppressed by grief and illusions, now illuminating hidden pathways. This isn't about flaunting abilities, but unveiling transformative solutions that conventional thinking can't produce. Each innovative idea dismantles the watcher's disbelief, forcing them to admit something extraordinary is unfolding. Whether it's bold proposals that fix long-standing issues or creative works that stir dormant hearts, your brilliance stands out against the gloom, announcing that old ways may no longer suffice. In tumultuous eras, influential figures become sharply attuned to those who can translate havoc into coherent vision. You, refined by trials, exude a calm that anchors anxious souls. Sensing your steady presence, they're ready to invest or join forces. The watchers scoff, attributing it all to chance, but you recognize a higher design weaving these alignments. Each new resource or partnership clicks into place as if orchestrated, creating momentum even skeptics can't easily dismiss. Through faith and persistence, the chaos transforms into a purposeful tide that carries you toward broader platforms. This perfect storm also tests and reveals your spiritual maturity. Pain once taught you survival. Now, you merge personal destiny with cosmic impetus. The question is no longer, will I make it? But how far can I expand? Your measured focus radiates as a guiding light for many. While they may not know your backstory, they sense the unwavering resolve in your eyes. You've become a force to be reckoned with. In this turbulent setting, your genius flares like lightning, once suppressed by grief and illusions, now illuminating hidden pathways. This isn't about flaunting abilities, but unveiling transformative solutions that conventional thinking can't produce. Each innovative idea dismantles the watcher's disbelief, forcing them to admit something extraordinary is unfolding. Whether it's bold proposals that fix long-standing issues or creative works that stir dormant hearts, your brilliance stands out against the gloom, announcing that old ways may no longer suffice. In tumultuous eras, influential figures become sharply attuned to those who can translate havoc into coherent vision. You, refined by trials, exude a calm that anchors anxious souls. Sensing your steady presence, they're ready to invest or join forces. The watchers scoff, attributing it all to chance, but you recognize a higher design weaving these alignments. Each new resource or partnership clicks into place as if orchestrated, creating momentum even skeptics can't easily dismiss. Through faith and persistence, the chaos transforms into a purposeful tide that carries you toward broader platforms. This perfect storm also tests and reveals your spiritual maturity. Pain once taught you survival. Now you merge personal destiny with cosmic impetus. The question is no longer, will I make it? But how far can I expand? Your measured focus radiates as a guiding light for many. While they may not know your backstory, they sense the unwavering resolve in your eyes. You've become a living testament to what's possible when faith, character, and destiny converge in one unstoppable force. Yet, illusions persist. The watchers may inflate your ego with honeyed praise or sow mistrust among your allies. If they can't break you through negativity, they'll try luring you into hubris or isolation. Remember that your genius, remarkable as it is, thrives on collaboration and humility. Storms carry monumental shifts, but whether they raise you or ruin you depends on the moral and spiritual truths you forged in painful seasons. A lapse into arrogance can interrupt the synergy fueling your ascension, collapsing what you've painstakingly built. Real power flows from abiding by principles stronger than fleeting applause. As the maelstrom intensifies, you might step into mentorship. People shaken by the turbulence may look to your calm for direction. The watchers derive this as arrogance, but genuine humility recognizes you're merely passing along the grace you received. By guiding others, you multiply the storm's beneficial impact, turning chaos into a channel for collective renewal. Every life you uplift expands the transformation, revealing that storms are not purely destructive. They can wash away stagnation to reveal the fertile ground of new possibilities. The storm's energy supercharges your creativity, forming mental sparks that connect once distant ideas into coherent breakthroughs. The watchers remain locked in linear thinking, whereas you harness the swirl of variables around you. Whether you're launching a social initiative, composing an inspired piece of art, or devising a radical business model, the final product has an almost mystical resonance. People sense a force behind your work that transcends mere talent. You thus become a catalyst, bridging hope and practicality for a world craving both. It's natural to question whether you can sustain such intensity. Storms blow over, leaving battered remnants behind. Yet your alliance with deep truths isn't tied to one event. While watchers speculate on your inevitable burnout, regular spiritual practices, prayer, self-reflection, or sacred solitude replenish you. As the storm settles, you transition smoothly into measured growth, establishing stronger foundations in your newly conquered domain. The watchers remain puzzled by how you pivot from unrelenting motion to stability. Your unwavering commitment to destiny transcends the immediate storm. Reflect on how each painful chapter shaped you, what the watchers saw as the qualifications, your mistakes, losses and heartbreaks, ultimately refined your spirit for this climactic moment. Betrayals and failures didn't negate your destiny. They readied you to master the powerful currents swirling now. Stepping into this vortex confirms your place in a grander narrative, one that dwarfs the watcher's limited perspectives. Indeed, every tear shed carved a resilient spirit, letting you harness the storm to rejuvenate rather than destroy. Yes, this perfect storm demands absolute focus, but its dividends, a renewed life mission, broader influence, and explosive creativity, justify every trial. When the winds recede, you'll stand at a summit of clarity, forging a lasting legacy immune to trivial rumors. In that radiant aftermath, you recognize how every heartbreak fused into a genius that not only charts your future, but lights the way for others brave enough to follow. Their footprints will mark new breakthroughs, echoing the paths you first discovered. Thus, what began as a fierce storm becomes a generative current, redefining your life's purpose and empowering countless souls to find hope in the tumult. In doing so, you affirm that every lesson, no matter how painful, serves a greater tapestry woven by faith and perseverance.